Today, I want to talk about past life remembering past lives. Do you have any memories of a past life? I do. The very first time that ever happened to me, I was, I think, 17, maybe 18, but I think it was 17 or 18. And I was dating a young man at the time, and he was really getting serious. And here I was, kind of just starting college. And he was really wanting to move forward. He wanted to give me an engagement ring and all of this. And it was blowing my mind. And I remember having this lucid dream right before, as you get up out of, you're waking up and you're coming awake in the morning. And it's just in that state where you're kind of starting to think, but you're not fully aware. I would say that's like lucid dreaming. And I had this memory. And it was almost like a scene out of this, but I was in the scene looking through my eyes at this experience. And our genders were reversed. And I just absolutely knew that she was he, the guy I was dating in this present life. I just knew it. I don't know how I knew it, but I knew it. And I was the man. So we had reversed roles in this past life. And we were on a ship, a tall ship. Had booked passage to go to the New World. So this guy I was dating in my current life was in my past life my wife. Kind of was, later when I was reflecting on this, it blew my mind a bit. But I just absolutely knew this is what the situation was. And in this scene that I was having this flash of this lifetime with this other person. In this scene, the ship was coming under attack. So who knows when this era would have been, but we would have been, going to the colonies, I guess, from Europe and to settle there. And the ship was under attack, about to be under attack by, I guess, pirates, I guess. I just knew it was becoming under attack. And being the man, I was actually in this memory excited about the ship being under attack. I was excited because I could go and arm myself and go help the crew to defend the ship. And my wife, in this experience, in this memory, was pissed at me. She was absolutely livid with me. When I went to go lean down to kiss her goodbye, she turned her face and gave me her cheek to kiss. And I remember thinking, as the man, being kind of confused about that, because I was all in my, my excitement about going to do my duty, going to do the thing that I was meant to do. I guess I had all this testosterone, I don't know, and I was going to go defend the ship. And then I awoke from this memory. I woke up fully. I came to my current situation, and I absolutely knew 100% that I had just dreamt about the person I was dating in my current life, and that we had had this past life experience together. So that was kind of freaky, like I said at the time. It wasn't like I was against reincarnation or the concept of that. It wasn't like I'd never heard of it before, but it certainly wasn't something that came up for me very much. But it did spark this whole investigation. I remember starting to read books like Raymond Moody and his studies on near-death experiences. And I read this fascinating book by Edith Fiore called You Have Been Here Before. And she was a psychologist that was doing she was doing hypnosis regression to help people figure out and solve the issues that they were having in their current situation. Like they had a phobia of some sort, a fear of heights, or whatever that is. And then she would take them back to perhaps a past memory, a childhood memory, something to help them to relive that and then heal it. And then she found people, when she was going into these past life regression or these regressions with them, she ended up going into other lifetimes with them. And this was happening on a fairly regular basis. And she started realizing that a lot of times these folks who had phobias in this current life, actually, some of it could have been generated not in this life, but in past lives. Well, that was so fascinating to me. So I guess I was trying to make sense of it. Why did I have this weird experience where I had this reverse gender role? And now I can't remember back that far what kind of issues I was having with this young man at the time, except I knew in my heart of hearts that I was not going to end up marrying him. I was off to my new adventure in college, and he was not going to go to college. And so we weren't going to have that shared experience, and we just didn't have that much in common to sustain us. But it was kind of fascinating to know that we had been together before and that perhaps we were working out some sort of karmic situation in this current life. I don't know. I don't really have that answer to this day, except that it just really opened my eyes to other possibilities and what could be possible. So I'm just curious, have you ever had past life memories of past lives? What could that be? What could that mean? My understanding in the studying and the reading that I've done is that we really aren't looking for like a whole memory, or we're looking to be someone famous in the past life or whatever, but that a lot of times that our spirit will allow us to see these things, or we're able to check in and see those things because they may hold a message. At least that's how I interpreted it after I had studied books by, Edith Fiore and Raymond Moody and those guys that were kind of looking into those things. And so for me, it wasn't like a whole life that I remembered. It was just this one scene, and it seemed to have relevance to the relationship that I had in the current life with this person that we had been together before in a romantic relationship. And that was probably part of the basis that we were attracted to each other in this lifetime, even though our genders were reversed. And I had a whole different understanding of being very female in this lifetime and heterosexual in this lifetime, and being heterosexual but male in the other lifetime. So it's fascinating. Anyway, I'm feeling led to share that. I do not know why my angel team has led me to do this, but they are urging me to go ahead and share this early story from long ago that came to me. Now, since then, I've had other remembrances. Maybe I'll share those too in a future video. But suffice it to say, experiences have been weird my entire life, even as early as in my teen years. What about you? I'm just curious. Feel free to share your thoughts, your insights, your memories in the comments below. Or if you think this is totally bunk and maybe there's the situation that we're just kind of tapping in to some Akashic record of someone else's life and we're just kind of tuning into what that could be, to how it could relate to our lives. And maybe it wasn't actually a past life, though it was very interesting that I absolutely knew that she was he. Or could it be that we're just having these like subconscious things, right? I don't know. If so, I would have had a very, very vivid imagination. And I'm not one that has that much of a vivid imagination. I am not built that way. I like to write, but not fiction. I'm not a fiction writer. I'm not talented in that way. So that's why I go to this has to be a past life that I'm remembering. And again, I've had other remembrances, and never like, again, a whole life, just little scenes. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. Let me know if you have any thoughts on that. Okay, until I see you next time, be well.